Hello, family. I hope you're all doing good. It's your girl Seeker in the house. It's been a hot minute, but I just want to thank God for all of our lives and the fact that we are here to be able to have this conversation. A lot has happened in the last few days in the whole Daddy Lumba, his legal wife Akosua Serwaa, and the whole family. So Daddy Lumba was put to rest finally this weekend, yesterday, the 13th of December to be precise, in Ghana. And prior to that, there was a lot of brouhaha about his immediate family, his big sister, uncles, aunties, and even his legal wife, Akosua Serwaa, wanting to find out exactly what took his life by requesting that they're able to do a second autopsy on his body to figure out exactly what took him away, because there's been a lot of conflicting information. There's a lot of things that don't make sense to me about that, including the fact that when he passed away, the woman that he was living with at the time had already arranged for an autopsy to be done without any real close family members present. The report that his son was there, but the rest of the family didn't feel that he was accustomed to the culture of Ghana because he was born and raised in Germany. But anyway, there was some autopsy that was done, which the Ebusuapeni, the head of the family, had access to. But from what his big sister was saying, she didn't really get the chance to see what was actually in the autopsy and wasn't allowed to conduct a private one to ascertain what took the brother's life. Now, Daddy Lumba was buried at the weekend, and when you look at the actual funeral that was organized and took place to say goodbye and to send Daddy Lumba home, and you compare that to what happened a week after he passed away, when there was the week celebration of life, there was a big difference. The organization for the 1 week was immaculate. The whole atmosphere was one of grief, shock, pain, the normal sentiments that you would expect at a funeral. But the actual send-off was nothing short of a shambles. Everything was disorganized. I mean, I saw videos where feet away from his corpse was somebody with a whole pan full of eggs, food, trying to sell her food to people that were converged at the funeral. It just felt like the middle of a marketplace with market women hawking their foodstuffs and everything, when it's actually supposed to be a solemn occasion when family and loved ones are bidding their loved one farewell. It was nothing short of a shambles. There's a lot of people that say that he didn't deserve what he got. And I mean, everyone is entitled to their opinion, and so do I. But for me, personally, I believe that he got everything that he deserved at that funeral at the weekend. Because for everything that he was, what he stood for, and what he did, and how he led his life, and sadly didn't put things in place to ensure that the very things and the very people he sang so passionately about, that he loved and cared for, but did nothing to protect them, this is the sort of outcome that he deserves. And so to me, it's like the funeral went how it was supposed to go, because that is just what he wanted. You see, this whole life is about choices, and the things that we choose to do in this life have consequences. I've lived on the planet for at least 4 decades and some, and I can tell you for a fact that I don't know any man who led the kind of life that Daddy Lumba led, or lived with multiple women, baby mamas left, right, and center, the cheating on a wife, the trauma, the abuse that he put her through, and was able to have any other outcome at the end than the one that Daddy Lumba had. I've been to quite a number of funerals as well, and said a lot of goodbyes to people that I love dearly. And I can tell you also that those of them that chose to get married and respected the sanctity of the vows that they made, and you know, respected their wives and gave them their due, had different outcomes to the one that Daddy Lumba had. And so to me, it is what it is. There's so many people that are out here also that are attacking Akosua Serwaa for allowing her children to, one, attend the funeral because they see that as a betrayal to their mother. But more importantly, there are videos of them dancing with the other woman that their father had and actually lived with till he passed on, Odobruni. And so they see that, how can your mom have real issues and be fighting battles in court with her, and you're here happily boogieing with her? It doesn't make any sense. And I can see where people are coming from. And this whole kind of issue that is here, if you try to talk about it with emotions, you would take yourself down a rabbit hole that wouldn't necessarily make sense. The fact about it is that when married couples have issues, it is very unfair for either party to rope their kids into that and try to use that as a give and take punching bag. Let me use this to get a number on the other sort of thing. Couples are adults, and you guys need to go fix your problem and not make it about the children. They never asked you to have them. And so for me specifically, I actually applaud Akosua Serwaa for being the bigger person, not polluting the minds of the children against their dad, and allowing them to go and say their goodbyes. No matter what you do, the father of your children, the mother of your children would always be the mom and dad, and there's nothing that can ever change that. Never advise anybody that I love to ever use their children as a tool to fight the other party. It doesn't work. It always backfires 100% of the time. Children are human beings also, you know. People think that children are brainless. They're just these, you know, inanimate figures that are just there, and they're just classed as children, and they just remain that. They're humans too. They might be little, but they're humans, and they They think, they have a brain, they have feelings, they have everything that adults have. Now, in this case, these 3 kids are adults anyway. I don't think any of them is less than 18 years old. And so Akosua Serwaa can't tie them to anything and refuse to allow them to go say goodbye to their dad. From all the accounts that are out there, regardless of the issues that were there between Akosua Serwaa and the husband and the other side piece, the children often travel back home to see their dad. That is suggestive to me that there was some kind of a relationship between the children and their father. So to me, it's only right that they were given the opportunity to say their goodbyes. You know, mental health is real, and emotional issues can be deep-reaching, and being able to allow people to have closure helps in the healing process of grieving. And so to me, regardless of the amount that it costs, because it's a hefty price, I know people that are literally next to my heart that never had that opportunity that these children have had. And the repercussions have been far-reaching. And so for me, I'm very happy that the children have had the opportunity to say their goodbyes. And I really applaud Akosua Serwaa for raising the children that she has, and all the things that we saw happen at the funeral where the children are concerned is testament to the fact that that woman, their mother, she did a great job. Very respectable children. They comported themselves well. And yeah, they are the talk of town. And Akosua Serwaa is actually, to me, the legend in this whole story. It is factual. Everybody knows it. Some people are too scared to even admit it. And so when some people don't have the fortitude to agree with something, they fight it, they oppose it, they try to downplay it, they rubbish it, but the fact still remains that Akosua Serwaa is one of a kind. The kind of heart that this woman has, I don't think there's ever going to be anybody else that's going to measure up to the person that she is and the person that she stood for all those years till now. Despite all the insults and all the things that were said, she has chosen silence all these years as her biggest asset. But that silence to try and protect his legacy didn't serve her in any good way, in my opinion. That same silence has been a double-edged sword that people have tried to use to rubbish her marriage to this man. He disrespected her, treated her like scum their whole life through the marriage, and even beyond in the grave. He set the table for people who never even partook in their struggles at the beginning of their lives to have a go at her and call her names and say all kinds of horrible things that had no fact or basis, just to denigrate, just to, tarnish her image and her name. But in all of it, she still chose to be quiet. But now, if there was any advice that I could give her today, if I could see her in person today, there's a few things I would say to her. The first one being, that Akosua Serwaa, you have been through enough. And right now, it's time for you to weaponize your story. And for once, allow your story to serve you. Because your life story can make a lot of textbooks that can be used to teach about relationships, to teach about marriage. And so to me, the best way to do this would be to find a ghostwriter and to write, get your story documented well. Don't grant no interviews to nobody, because you're not going to get nothing out of the whole thing. Write a book. That can never be taken away from you. That would stand the test of time and remain on shelves and can be reprinted 1 billion times over well and live well after you. Write a book. There's so many people that are just waiting to pounce on your story and milk it. But please, ma'am, write a story. Write your book. Write a book. Nobody can tell the story better than you can because you lived it. Write a book or books about your life so that other women can learn valuable lessons from your experience. The second thing is, after you've written that book, published it, and people are buying it, bloggers, TV channels, like people would create all kinds of groups to read the book. Everyone would be rushing to get a copy of it. And we would all sit and digest your book and create content out of it. So that is the way to serve the masses. But for you, you deserve every ounce of your pain. It was your pound of flesh after all. I would also have a YouTube channel that you yourself have created and monetized that. And if you choose to make a whole documentary, a movie, or movies out of snippets of your life, you could do that and sell that as well. You don't have to be in it if you don't want to. There can be people that act their movie or movies for you. And you can put that wherever you want that to go. And again, make money out of that. You can make it as classy as you want. Make it Netflix worthy, because your story will touch a lot of lives. Not just African lives, just lives of women in general. I really wish I could see you one-on-one. And I pray that one day that opportunity arises. If I make it to Germany, I'll move heaven and earth to meet you. I just want to give you the biggest hug ever. That's it. I don't want a dime from you. But there's so many other people that can see the potential that is in your story and want to make money out of you. And so I pray that you find people that have your best interest at heart, that can help and advise you, and not people that are trying to benefit out of your pain. You've suffered enough. And the people who really truly claim that they love you need to actually ensure that your legacy is protected and that what you stand for, what you've been through, that story, that whole you is protected and not taken advantage of. So please don't grant any interviews to anybody. No blogger, no channel, no nobody. Write books about yourself. People have abused you all your life and just taken advantage of your silence, and so you can take time and plan a celebration of life tour for your husband, and hold one in every